welcome to episode number 14 of the Hobby Hotline live on YouTube this morning with our host Val Marz at NASCAR Radio from NASCAR Radio. What's up, Val?
Hey, sir.
And we also have Stephan Loeffler, our Jack Wax twins from About the Cards. What's up, Steph? How are you doing?
Howdy.
And I'm Tim Shepler from About the Cards as well. And great to have everybody here tonight. We're the Hobby's only live call-in show. We're live every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. East Coast time. YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. Follow us on Twitter at the Hobby Hotline. We're available as a podcast pretty much everywhere. We have a great guest to kick off the show today. Already in with us, Tracy Hackler from Panini. What's up, Tracy? How are we doing today?
Gentlemen, what's happening? Thanks for having me on. And that intro is popping. I just want to go on record as saying that.
We the first few shows, it wasn't we were kind of not as professional, but we're trying to up the game every week here, and so
well, I'm not going to help you out there. Your level of professionalism is dramatically degraded with me on, but I am happy to be here. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, definitely. We're just a bunch of goofballs talking about guys on cardboard, so on a Saturday morning, so it's great. We'll have a bunch of. We'll send out the link here for you to join in and call in and hop on with us. But since we're so lucky to have Tracy on, there's been a lot going on in the hobby, and during this whole pandemic, and things have kind of slowed down and restarted in certain places. And I know when I go out to retail, which really is the only when I go to Walmart to grocery shop, I look for cards, and it's wiped clean here. I see some other parts of the country. It's plentiful, but here people can't get enough, I guess. But what it's been like for you as you guys at Panini during all of this stuff, where you have deadlines and you have stuff coming out and release dates and a bunch of products, to pop out, and then all of a sudden you can't do anything and things shut down. What's it been like for you guys?
Yeah, I think like with just about everybody else in the industry, whether you're a manufacturer or collector, it's been kind of certainly unprecedented times for all of us. And we had a temporary shutdown of our production facility, which dramatically impacted our ability to print, package, produce, and ship new product. Mm-hmm. Everything else we were able to do in terms of photo and design and all the things that we could do during the shutdown, we did do, and that was exciting. And then late last week, we finally got the green light from the governor of Texas to our production facility started back in a limited capacity, and a lot of the products that had been paused at that time of the stay-at-home order were back on the line. And so this last week we saw the pack out of Mosaic Hobby Basketball, which the retail version had come out. Our sales team, production team managed to get that retail version of Mosaic out, and it did really well. Real exciting to see that. So this week the hobby version, choice version, first off the line version packed out, and then also Chronicles Football, 2019 Chronicles Football packed out as well. So you'll see those two products hitting hobby shops in the next probably week to 9 days. And hopefully, barring any unforeseen setbacks, we'll be full speed ahead going forward.
Outstanding. Yeah, and we had Dub Mentality on our show about the cards this week, and we were talking about products and prices selling, and Mosaic. I must have blown through here because I saw some empty boxes of it, but it's been very popular. But also too, we were talking about Prism Draft Football and how crazy the prices of boxes are double or triple what they are at retail or when they go out to sale. And because people just can't get enough, we had the draft happen, which I think felt good for everybody. Like, hey, we have kind of a sporting event happening. We have NASCAR coming back. So everybody got really excited about the draft picks. So what's it look like do you guys have any ideas of what the NFL Rookie Premiere is going to look like or what 2020 NFL products will look like with the rookies?
So, yeah. So first of all, to talk about the NFL draft, we were able to really have a really impactful execution on our side in terms of working directly with players at their respective parties that obviously while practicing a safe social distance protocol, we were able to really have an impactful draft weekend activation with players being live at their houses, tweeting out the Panini Instant cards in real time, having the players kind of tweet those out. Just full speed ahead. We had some really fun partnership with Sports Manias on the player emojis kind of popping into rated rookie cards, and a real successful draft for us, all things considered. The Prism Draft Picks product, I think it caught a lot of people by surprise just how quickly it was consumed in the marketplace, both on the hobby side and on retail and on the hobby hybrid version. But going forward for the rest of 2020 and the 2020 football season, there's not going to be a typical or traditional rookie premiere, which is unfortunate, but it's something that we all have to kind of negotiate and embrace and make the best of. And so we're in that process now of a lot of Photoshop work that's going to be needed. And I've seen the early Photoshop stuff for Origins football. We've teased a little bit of it on our social, but it looks great. I mean, Origins is one of my favorite kind of early season football releases, and the Photoshops I've seen of that look great. So it's an unprecedented time. There's never not been a rookie premiere since it started 20 some odd years ago. So it's unfortunate. It'll be a hurdle, another obstacle, but I think we've shown as a community, as a collecting community, that we will make the best of that situation and move on. But in terms of other products, we have a full 2020 NFL slate planned, and look forward to getting that done.
No, definitely. Yeah, I think this is going to be unique, and I think it'll add a unique element to this year's collecting. To look back years from now going, hey, remember we were going through all of this, and that's why these cards, and it might spawn something amazing that we're not even aware of, because certain things because I think some of the best inventions are based out of necessity and things you don't expect. And I can't wait to see what comes up and what that looks like. And I'm excited. I always love to collect the quarterbacks that come out and kind of do some NFL prospecting, if you will, on who might take off, and it's exciting to see. So,
and that's one of the things that what you hit on was the fan to athlete interaction, and especially with the custom running into the rated rookie. I thought you guys did an excellent job on that. Seeing the players and your account naturally retweeting when the players did, it was just amazing.
Yeah, that was good. That was really one of the most entertaining aspects of that partnership with Sports Manias was the buy-in that we got organically from the players, and retweeting them and using them on their Snapchat and on their Instagram, and that's really why we did it. But I think it took all of us by surprise, both at Panini and at Sports Manias, that the players so embraced it. In fact, I think we ended up doing 31 different players had those kind of emojis that went from their college uniform, and then as soon as they were drafted, for transition from college to their NFL uniform on a rated rookie card. And we had a few players who reached out to us who weren't on that initial list and said, "Hey, can I get one of those?" And our friends at Sports Manias were nice enough to make additional ones. So that was a lot of fun. I think it was something that we knew was going to be fun and it was going to be cool. But I think to see the players adopt that in such a widespread manner was really nice. And Tim, you brought up a good point about how necessity is kind of breeds innovation or breeds new things. And I think we saw, even with the NFL draft, I think there was some skepticism early that what would this draft be like? And I think it really led to some unique aspects of kind of bringing in additional players in addition to the 20 or 22 who usually get invited to the draft city, of being kind of live in their home. And I think you'll see that continue for years and years because it was so successful.
No, yeah, I think that was one of the best parts. We have a question from the chat from Chris Harris. Is there a contingency plan in place to acquire autographs or player worn jerseys because of the if the player premiere is canceled, the rookie premiere?
Yeah, I mean, our teams, as you might imagine, our teams have been kind of full speed ahead and a lot of email conversations back and forth between departments because obviously the premiere is one of our, if not our biggest kind of most important event every year, and because it does allow us to acquire a lot of assets in a small amount of time. So I think we're continuing to do that. It's just not going to be 40 guys on site in one place. It'll be kind of player by player. We'll work with them directly to get the assets that we need, and it'll be different. It'll present some challenges that we traditionally haven't had to deal with over the last several years. But I've got full confidence both in our team internally at Panini and also our partners at the NFLPA that will make the most of it and be effective.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, we have a call in here. I think it's Brad. What's up, Brad? Good morning. You have a question for Tracy?
Good morning. Actually, this is pure coincidence. So this landed in my hands a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome.
And yeah, I was actually just very pleased that I got it. And I've been scouring the net looking for a way to send it in graded, but I didn't know what you would need to protect this to see, because I don't have anything traditionally that would go on this. So is there a sleeve and then a penny, whatever you want to put it in? That's my first question. And then you were talking about football. I happen to love football. Number one favorite sport. Number two is hockey. But are you worried that with you on the origins, photoshopping the players and all of that, are you worried it might hurt the product coming out or the anticipation of the product coming out because it's not in real uniform?
Not really worried in the case of Origins because that's a product that's kind of art inspired. So that look is pretty Photoshop driven every year anyway. I think our team has really stepped up. If you look at our Twitter and Instagram from yesterday or the day before, we tweeted out the Joe Burrow and T. Higgins cards, and you can tell they're really attractive. Don't look like cheesy or phony at all. And our teams are getting better. The technology is getting better. So I think we'll make the most of it. But there could be some issues where some guys don't look maybe as accurate as they should or as real life as they should. But I think people understand that we're going through some unprecedented times, and there will be some critics, but we'll make the most of it. I think I don't think it'll really impact the quality of the products. And then on your oversized Kobe Bryant memorabilia card, funny story about those. That was a retail only insert in Threads basketball that year, and retail. I don't often get the same type of information in the same timeline that I do with hobby. So I didn't even know those jumbo jerseys were in the product. And it turned out it was a huge selling point, and they did really well because it was the largest memorabilia card that we'd ever done. And so I was able to we were able to turn that into kind of a marketing positive. So I love those. I'm glad you brought that one on. In terms of,
it's gorgeous. It's absolutely.
What size is that?
nice.
It's a 5x7, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brad,
Look at my head. I mean, look at if you want to do it's. I mean, it's almost as big as my head.
There we go.
Huge. It's gorgeous.
Did you make a 5x7 penny sleeve? Because I have some, and they also make 5x7 top loaders that you can locate. So.
Yeah, that might be the only way to do it, right? Because I don't know, because it's not, because I don't know that we even did prime versions of those. So they shouldn't be there shouldn't be any extra thick ones that would prohibit them from being in a 5x7 top loader.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed by it. This first one I've ever seen. It's the first one I ever got my hands on. It just happened to be a Kobe Bryant,
awesome.
I was like, when I saw it, I went, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it's a gorgeous card. I mean, it's and the patch is really nice. I mean, I mean, it's. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Y'all
How
did
big
a
is
great
that
job.
swatch right there?
Oh, dude, it's got to be close to what? That's got to be 2x2 or something. It's almost the size
Probably
of a
2x3.
full regular card, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow, that's almost the size of a card itself.
It
Oh,
is. Here. I'm actually doing my. Well, I don't have a Panini card with, so
That's okay. You can turn it
apologize.
around.
But here, we'll do this. I'm doing some Topps 2020.
Oh, nice. Stephan coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is almost.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
close.
2x3. I said 2x2 earlier, Tim. That's not a square. I'm not real math savvy, but you're
It's
right.
early on a Saturday.
Yeah,
2x3.
we appreciate it, Brad. Thanks for hopping on and sharing that with us. It's a great
Yeah,
card.
thank you, Brad. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that brings me to another question, real quick. I didn't really thought of with Brad showing the Kobe there. Losing him still to me boggles my mind. That he's not with us, and I don't know. Like I'm a Sacramento Kings fan, and he killed us all the time. So I'm not like a Kobe fan, but as a basketball person, as a dad, it doesn't, for whatever reason, it doesn't click in my head, right? We lose people all the time, but for whatever reason, I can't get around to it. And I've heard other people say that. And so I feel better knowing that I'm not the only one, but I know he was a big part of your guys' brand. And he was one of your, exclusives. And I just how did that affect you? I mean, this is the first time I'm getting to talk to you about this. It's been a while, but how did that affect you guys? How did it affect you personally? I mean, what was that like?
Man, it was huge. I think it caught all of us by surprise. And really, it took something like a global pandemic to kind of shift the focus away from that. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it just is true. And he was our first global kind of exclusive guy that we signed when Panini America came into the U.S. It had the NBA exclusive. He was a great partner. He was, everything everyone says about him is true. He's a consummate professional, type A, smart businessman, really cared about the relationship with us and wanted us to continue innovating. He was a big fan of innovation and not just status quo with his trading cards. His influence on things like his Eminence collection that he kind of handpicked the cards for and the designs. We just can't say enough great things about him as a business partner, as a teammate, and it really impacted Brian Bain, who is our VP of acquisitions at Panini America. He was the gentleman who was lucky enough to once a month or so fly out to Kobe and do the signings, and he really developed a closer relationship with Kobe than any of us could have ever imagined. And he was really struck by it. It really affected him in a big way, and I think it just caused all of us inside Panini and really, like everyone around the world, just caused us to really appreciate him and not take for granted every day, because you just never know.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's kind of crazy. So let's say we have another call in here, one of our regulars. What's up, O? How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, as you can see.
Oh, sure.
I guess we're showing some Panini cards. These are from 2020 downwards.
Nice.
Trey Tono, Aquino,
Oh, nice.
and the Recollection collection.
Hey,
Got
I
one
love
of these
that.
last year. It was Ozuna.
okay.
Yeah, I
And
love
now-
the Recollection collection.
Yeah,
It's a nice touch.
Oh,
I
did you
really
have
like buybacks. And I do have a
for
question.
Tracy this morning?
Oh, for Tracy.
Or for
Or
anyone.
just a question in general. Hop in. What's up?
So for Tracy, so if the draft, if like any of the drafts, like MLB draft or NBA draft, gets postponed, how would that affect the rookie class? Or like if when the season gets canceled, will we have like another dual rookie class like we did with hockey one time?
The NBA too had one of those not too long ago. The Kyrie Irving class was
12, 11, 12, 13. Those
Yeah.
2 years were pushed together.
Yeah, I think if a season gets canceled, that's exactly what you would have is a dual rookie class. We hope that doesn't happen, and the NBA draft's coming up later this summer, and we haven't heard anything definitively about that. But if it is impacted or delayed, I think we're all kind of in this together, learning together as this thing goes. And I think the one thing that's really cool about Panini is that we're nimble. We're able to kind of move quickly and adjust on the fly when we have to. So I'm not too concerned about any kind of changes coming. It's just a matter of how we deal with them and when they're announced.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think the MLB looked to move to 5 rounds this year instead of their traditional, 40, which is interesting. Which is very interesting to me that they would shorten it up that much. But I appreciate it, bud. I'm gonna put you back in and hold for a sec so we can get with Tracy a little bit more. He's great. He calls in all the time. We definitely appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of our last questions this morning for you is: what's the next 6 months, the rest of the year, basically look like for Panini at this point?
I mean, it looks. In fact, I'm going to go here and I'm just going to call up the release calendar just to kind of, as it stands right now, where we're at. So Select Baseball is slated to release May 22nd. Basketball Mosaic Hobby is May 20th. And then the Blasters and the Fast Break will be May 22nd. And Noir Basketball is slated to release May 27. Contenders Draft Picks Football is May 29th. Chronicles Football releases May 15. And Score Football releases tentatively June 5th. So that's kind of the most recent release calendar that I have in front of me. But I think everything else, I mean, we're kind of at the mercy of what the government does, but we're looking forward to plowing ahead and hopefully reopening in stages doesn't come back to bite all of us. And if we can just keep making steady progress, I think we'll get this behind us. And one of the things I've been most encouraged by is, I thought that the hobby might suffer a little bit from this, as so many other industries have, but it seems like one of the great things about sports cards and collecting has always been that it offers a diversion from the everyday stresses, and I think that's really been highlighted during the pandemic so far, is that people need something to take their minds off the crap, and trading cards have provided that once again.
So let me ask you, as the social brand promotioner, how's Diamond Kings looking this year?
Promotioner.
How's Diamond Kings looking this year?
I haven't seen much of Diamond King Stephan yet, but I know that you know more than most that brand kind of enjoyed this crazy renaissance about, what has it been, 3 or 4 years ago, that it really resonated again with people in a big way. And you were buying a lot of that stuff. And so I firmly believe that it's going to be just as strong when it comes out, probably early mid-June, I think.
Cool.
And look, our creative and design teams are getting their Photoshop fix in right now with all the football stuff. So I would imagine their skills are sharpened for DK. So I'm excited about it. That's, again, I don't know exactly what kind of all the influences that converged to make that product really resonate again in a big way 3 or 4 years ago, but I'm glad it did. And I'm glad that it found a home.
Tracy, I have to ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I have to ask. I know you didn't mention it on the release calendars, but I believe Chronicles Racing is next. Do you have any insight into some of that? I think.
I was trying to find that. I actually had a piece of paper with that date on it not long ago. Let me see if I can find it for you.
That's fine. And with NASCAR getting ready to go live, no more iRacing. Next Sunday they'll run three races in Darlington and then 4 in Charlotte the next week. So basically in 10 days they're running 7 races.
Yeah, we're gearing up for that too. We have a few announcements next week as it relates to NASCAR, starting back up in terms of a few initiatives we have going, and we're excited about that because everything racing was kind of right there when the whole kind of pandemic hit and the stay at home was mandated. We had a few racing announcements ready to unveil. So those have been put on hold, but we're looking forward to launching those. And you'll probably appreciate it more, Val, than Tim or Stephan. But we're excited about having actual live sports again and having products to support that. And I think so. Just stay tuned. I think mid next week we'll have some new headlines to make on NASCAR.
Awesome. Super excited.
Nice.
And don't forget to tell the folks they still have Panini Instant in their arsenal, so don't be afraid to use it.
That's a great point.
One last question. Are you guys Panini surprised about how the demand for your retail basketball products have been this year? Like, I felt like the last couple of years, it was there, but you could continually find it. This year, I feel like it was like everybody went in and bought it all at one time. Like, they couldn't get enough, and then the resale and the what people have been able to turn and flip it for and all that stuff. Are you guys as a company really surprised about the demand and the want for it?
I mean, I personally have been surprised. And we had high expectations this year, obviously, because of Zion and Ja and RJ and such a deep and talented rookie class. We knew it was going to be popular, but I mean, even so, it's blown me away in terms of the reality versus kind of anticipation. But I think if you talk to our sales executives or our executive panel, they might not be surprised. But to your point, I think when a product like Dahmer's Optic or Prism, I mean, Prism surprised nobody because it's been growing and it's kind of a beast in and of itself. But when a product like Dahmer's Optic gets consumed so quickly, I think it did surprise. It surprised me. I don't know that it surprised everybody, but I think the basketball market in particular has kind of led this market resurgence of just unprecedented. I mean, people used to talk about 91 Anaheim National as like those were the glory days. Man, I remember 91. And I think people now are going to talk about, I remember 1920 and because it just is a different market. I think maybe more active collectors on the market today than maybe there's ever been. I mean, I can't scientifically or numerically back that up, but just anecdotally and what we're seeing kind of in sales numbers at retail is would certainly lead to that conclusion.
Well, yeah, no, it's been crazy, and I think it's good. I think the wider we can, and the more people we can invite into the hobby, and people that can come back or join, I think it's better for all of us. And it might take a few products out of our hands here and there, but again, it leads to more creativity, I think, from the producers of the content to hit a wider stat. And again, we get this necessity out of need, and I think we're gonna see some really interesting stuff coming up from all you guys, and so I'm excited to see what happens. And I appreciate you spent a half hour with us on your Saturday. I really appreciate your time today, Tracy. It's been great.
Oh no, man!
Great follow-up.
You're
always very generous with your time, so we appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the opportunity, and hope everybody watching stays safe and stays sane. And to all the wonderful mothers and mother figures out there, happy Mother's Day. We love you. We wouldn't be us without you. And so thank you for letting us collect. Thanks for not throwing away our collections back in the day when we left for school or work. And those who did, the moms who threw our cards away are the reason the ones who didn't are still so valuable. So you got to thank them too.
Yep. No, definitely. Well, thanks again, Tracy. We'll have to have you on again sometime soon. The great Tracy Hackler hanging out with us today. I love it. I mean, it's great to get a little insight from someone that's in the trenches, and I think we got some great information today. Just some things coming up because, again, it's such an unknown, and they're trying to work through it too. So I mean that's great. I have a couple questions for you guys. So I don't know if you've seen this, the 2020 Bowman first edition that's been so hot, like $700 a box, right? These were $15 packs. They're going for like $30 a pack now. It's just paper base cards, and all these people have it's paper, and nobody collects Bowman base paper anymore. But
there's no
all of a
autographs.
sudden it's popular. But there's been there's autographs, but they're like one in like every like what was it 300 packs or something. I mean, it's very rare. But all of the autos guys that I've seen, the people have posted, have been smeared.
Oh wow!
So was it a QC thing? Was it the autos that were they the ones that got back for regular Bowman that weren't going to make it into the product, but they're like, well, we could reuse them in this. I don't know. I mean, have you guys seen that? I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, I don't understand like how some of these even made it through their quality control. I mean, because it's clearly quite smeared, and I just want to know what you guys' thoughts were, or if anybody out there on has listening that's seen that as well.
There's no way that it should have passed quality control. Unless, to your point, this was done, not on say on purpose, but to kind of repurpose these cards. And the only way you get a smeared autograph is, by I do so many doing in person that, you need to let them dry or not drop them on the next card or whatever. So depending on when and where those were autographed, if that was a Topps session or something else, I don't know how that could happen and then how it could get through quality control. So
yeah, so
here's
if three of them here.
Slight smudge on a line here, it maybe passes, but to this extent, it's almost nearly excessive.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how it passes the quality control unless it's maybe they missed a batch, or if they rushed it out. I mean,
is it just a couple of players, or is it?
So this person only pulled them from eBay, but it looks like there's at least 3 players that were smudged.
Well, and also there wasn't really an official checklist either.
Right.
And normally they just said, hey, there'll be random inserts, and it's just kind of been hit and miss, and there's been not a lot of information about it. So to me, that's just kind of, it's one of those things like, I don't know if anybody else saw it, this is Angels in the Nosebleed. He's not the first one that's pointed this out. I've heard it from other places. Other people have seen them. When, the autographs are so rare, why even put them in if they're damaged? Because people are going to ask for replacements.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to figure that out. And then 2, it's a bad look. Now, there's a couple here and there, and we're just seeing those examples, but I have not seen one where it's been a good example yet either. So, if you've seen those out there, let us know. I just thought it was weird. Another issue that's come up. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so I know I hate redemptions, but is that an opportunity for them to actually do the right thing or put a redemption in?
So I know that in the past, at the National in particular, they've kind of clarified their process as far as what packs out and what they keep behind and what their replacement process is. And essentially, they kind of said that, at least Topps, they keep a certain amount back so that, if they issue 99 of a card, for example, they'll might only produce X amount, but they'll keep X amount behind in that, hey, my number 3 of 99 was dinged. Okay, well, ship it back to us. We'll send you number 34. Now, obviously, this happens less so with the autographs, but I would assume that they would have some on hand, and I'm sure they got a sticker sheet somewhere of these players that they can just slap it on as they do through the normal process and replace them if they don't have them already pre-prepped.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was kind of disappointing in a product that, so.
Had the potential to be great.
Yeah. Well, no, here's a good question, too, from Chris Harris. These smudged autographs are serial numbered. Does that mean there's one less for regular Bowman? Yeah, and it could have been the ones that were, like Steph said, held back because, again, they don't always put all of the autographs in the product because, there's certain times where you get a redemption. Like I remember I had a damage redemption from 19 Top Series 2. I sent in, they sent me back a Victor Robles autograph that was serial numbered. So that was supposed to be in the product. I'm going to bring back the O. Hey, O, I appreciate you hanging out. Did you have a follow-up? Any other questions for us this morning, bud?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, what's up?
What's your opinion on the new Topps T206 coming out?
So last year, and we were actually kind of talking about this pre-show, and it was one of our upcoming topics, I think. I like the idea of the set, and I know that in the past, like last year, they rolled out Topps Total again. I don't know how much they can go to the well to revive some previously dead subjects. I'm interested to see how they do it, as far as if they're rolling out minis as well, because that's the thing that they had in previous issues. And being a T206 product, obviously you kind of have to focus on the backs. But I'm interested. I'm not completely discarding it.
Well, I remember seeing, like, back when the product was like a physical box product.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they kind of did like the backs, like the original backs, back when it like in the 2005, I think, T206 thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as we could see, and if you saw the video from Topps, the promotional video, it looks like kind of like a basic pack.
Okay, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, no, and Val asked us because he was asking us about how we stay as baseball collectors on top of all of the new products, and it's crazy. Like if you go to their site, if you go to Topps' website right now and look at all of their online products, I mean, we're getting almost into double digits now. And with stuff popping daily or weekly or on certain days of the week, it is really difficult. I mean, there's some certain things I'm relying on other collectors to tell me about turn the clock back, or those cards on the day. If there's a Royal, or especially if there's a George Brett to pick up. And, we know on Wednesdays that Topps Living drops, and then every day we're getting Topps or Project 2020. On we're getting Throwback Thursdays. We have Topps Total. There's just so much out there. I guess it's neat, but I'm not a big fan of the Topps 206. I have some of the old ones with the Royals, the Giant. They're just in a box because I'm not a huge fan of them. I think they do enough of this with Allen and Ginter and Gypsy Queen, where this is just another one of the same, and it's just, I don't know. It doesn't excite me at all this year.
Well, if it gets to too much, everybody come on over to racing. We only have like 4 or 5 a year, so.
Yeah.
So,
but that's a great question, because I was thinking, usually you want to pick up some of the first. They might have smaller print runs or whatever, might appreciate. So, I was curious if this is something, I should look at maybe picking up at least the first one.
Yeah, I would assume they roll it out similar to how they did Topps Total last year, where here's wave 1 of the packs available, here's wave 2, here's wave 3.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And I'd always go with wave 1 because it's always undersold, and then people realize, you look at the first Topps, the Project 2020 Trout, there were 3,000 sold, and they're going for $400 or $500 now for a $20 card because of the low print run.
Right.
And so, well, we appreciate it. We have another great caller here, regular Uncle Rich Klein.
Hey,
good morning,
Shep,
sir.
how are you, big guy?
I'm doing great. I heard that you got to physically see Steph the other day, and I apologize if he wasn't. I'm sorry.
Steph and Angela did great work. I mean, you should have seen the office before they came in and what it looks like now.
There are before and after videos.
Yes, there'll be before and after video. But I was going to tell one of my favorite, and this one's really harmless hobby stories about the last time Topps did a 206 product and a couple of the other vintage products they used at the beginning of this century. Kit Young at the time was buying a lot. Kit Young, who's a major longtime dealer, was buying a lot of the cards for their buyback, when they were putting buybacks in. So Kit started actively buying T206 cards. So when I saw that, my first thought, and I was still at Beckett because this is like 18 years ago, was I went to Mike Payne, hey, we wrote something about it. And Topps actually got annoyed because we broke the news about the Topps T206 product before they actually announced it, based on the fact that Kit was buying the cards. So every time Kit started looking for cards, I think Cracker Jack or whatever the next time they did, we checked with Topps first. By the way, are you guys doing this so we can get confirmation that you're actually that you're doing another product with buyback cards? So it's very funny how in those days you could tell when Topps was going to do something based on what the leading hobby dealers were buying, so they could put them into the buyback, as buybacks into their products.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. See, none of the big companies can do anything without, the diehard collectors knowing.
No, it's really weird. They, no matter how much you do, the collectors, especially now that we're even much more interconnected than we were 15 years ago, you find out immediately when something happens almost. I mean, it's really hard to keep a secret in this hobby.
Sure.
No, definitely. I appreciate that story. So what's it been like? I haven't got to talk to you recently, but what's it been like for you? I mean, during all of this.
Well, for me, it's been pretty much business as usual. I mean, ComC is still open. The only difference the real big difference for me is that I haven't been able to do. I walk my dogs a bit in the morning, and I walk them several times a day, but I haven't been able to go to the mall for my daily walk in a controlled climate situation. Other than that, for me, it's pretty much been BAU. The other thing that is, as you see, we've been blessed with a ton of donations, which Stephan and Angela did a great job collecting, and not collecting, but fixing the office. But really, it's not been a ton of change for me. I don't go out a ton, so staying at home after I go, I was literally driving to work, driving home, and occasionally going to the food store. So other than that, my life really hasn't changed very much. So it's been a little different for me than for some people. I didn't become as much of a hermit as Steph and Angela and stay in my house for 6 weeks, but I became less out there, so to speak.
Well, and I would say that, prior to before, you had less interaction in the office just because there's less people there. But, yeah, I mean, from everything I've heard, not much change for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. We've seen these Michael Jordan prices just explode since the documentary The Last Dance come out. By the way, I can't get enough of The Last Dance. And they're doing a Roy Halladay one coming up. Mm-hmm. It's going to be on E60. They're doing a Sosa McGuire one. I love these because I'm such a nerd about. I want to know how the sausage was made. I want to see all the behind the scenes. I want to understand why things were done. And this has been amazing. And he was an icon for the guys at my age. And even so, you see all just with shoes too. But we see these prices like 91 Upper Deck boxes where his short prints in there, which were probably maybe like one a box or so, one in every box and a half, I believe back then. These boxes were $5 or $6 all day long, and now they're going for 30, 40, 50 bucks, and now we see that card going for $15, $16, $25 raw on just that insert. But his other stuff is basketball cards. Do you think that these prices maintain? Like the craze for this maintains, or do you think it levels off at any time? Or
I'll start. I think it levels off, but I think the increase is permanent. I think some of the increase is permanent. The people your age, Steph, the people Steph's age, give or take, as I said, we grew up with Jordan. I'm a little bit older. I obviously did not grow up with Jordan. But one of the things after the 94 baseball strike, as I've pointed out before, is the kids that were still going to card stores for the rest of the decade until the basketball lockout strike of 99, what they were buying at the store was basketball cards. There's a generation of kids, 80s, 90s, they grew up with basketball as much, if not more, than baseball. they grew up with Jordan. They grew up with Barkley. They grew up with Pippen. I mean, Barkley stuff is white hot too. I mean, it's amazing how hot Barkley stuff is. Pippen stuff's getting hot. I know partially because of The Last Dance, but that whole era is now gaining in steam because everybody who came back, that was their sport.
Mm-hmm.
And you can almost say the 90s was the transition between baseball being the dominant sport and basketball being a dominant sport in our society along with football. But basketball, you could still see everybody's face. Sure. And I think that's another very big part of it. When you're watching a basketball game, you see everybody's face. You know, even in baseball now, you don't see everybody's face the same way you still do in basketball. So you see a personality. And the NBA has more fun allowed when they play the game than they do in the other sports too. You know,
baseball, in the no fun league.
What?
In the no fun league?
The no fun league or baseball. Let the kids play. I think that's very important when we get back to baseball to let the kids play. If a guy wants a bat flip, let them. But going back to your original question, the increase to some extent will be permanent. You know, maybe for the next generation or so, because we'll be the generation that remembered all these people, and for us, that will always be our childhood heroes.
So you're kind of suggesting, per se, I guess, that he kind of becomes the mantle of the '90s.
He already was the mantle of the '90s. I mean,
well, of the elder people that were collecting in the '90s, trying to go back to their childhood.
Yes, correct.
Jordan is the current.
Yes, Jordan is the current. You could say Jordan is the current mantle or the current Babe Ruth.
I guess maybe for Canadians, Gretzky.
For Gretzky, yes. And for racing, Petty or Earnhardt, depending on which generation you want to talk about, or Jeff Gordon, even if you want to talk, you know, what generation you want to talk about. Jimmy Johnson, who won how many titles in a row? It seemed like
5.
5. That's a lot to win in a row, isn't it?
It's amazing because 3 was the previous record.
Yeah. So
and I love how no one said 24, which is my buddy's favorite driver, and I always give him crap. Just anytime I can make fun of good old number 24 is the best. So yeah, Jimmy Johnson's the greatest, right? I hope he's watching today. No, it's great. No, it's been crazy to me. Just what it is, and then like Fleer Metal basketball took off, and that was always pretty popular, but the pricing has gone off, and then it's leached now into baseball. It's just funny how a documentary, the pandemic, no new releases, all of these things kind of converge into this perfect storm of, okay, God, I forgot about that. I never had that. Boy, I missed that. Everybody just hopping in and going like, and there's all these prices coming up. I was telling the guys on the show this week, my eBay store, I'm doing 5 or 6 sales a day over the last 6 weeks. And I don't have a ton up there at this point, but it's been constant. And some stuff that's sat there for a long time is moving, and it's crazy. It's just, I can't imagine being one of the, the big boys on there and what they're going through right now, because it's the only way really to get product or get cards you're looking for. So,
well, and to that, I actually was dealing with a customer service issue where he wanted to know the price of shipping. So I pulled up his order, and it was mostly Pippen or Jordan or some of the not minor stars, but some of the major players in the early 90s. Patrick Ewing, I think there was a Gary Payton. But he wanted to know what it would take to ship to France. And then just yesterday, there's similar 90s basketball players asking, where's this package at? It's going to Russia. So I definitely think there's a huge outreach to the non-traditional countries, America, Canada, Mexico, Japan. Even Japan, China. Just people trying to either they were stationed there militarily or just outside countries wanting to cash in.
No, it's been crazy. And then I don't know if you guys saw the Project 2020 Ken Griggly Junior card that Griggy that popped up. I don't know, because it is artwork, if it can be adjusted or fixed. I don't know if you have a picture, Steph, but
I'm pulling it. Yeah.
It's spelled right in one spot and wrong in another, and we see this from time to time. But does it get fixed?
So this is probably a layer in the actual file before they send it to print. And as far as I know, I'd probably assume that it's just a texting layer, so they could probably just go in really quick. And as the Tops quickly addressed this and deleted it and showed a new promo photo for this release that had the actual correct spelling.
Okay.
So I would assume that these haven't gone to printing yet, and if they have, they've caught those few and pulled them.
Oh, that's good.
But look, back in the day, there were even a couple sets where the major card company spelled Mark McGuire's name wrong. And so if the card companies can blow Mark McGuire's name during the 90s when almost everybody should have known who he was, they can, an artist may not know the sport and may have just missed it themselves.
Well, yeah,
well, that
F and G are right next to each other, so it's possible that he just flubbed it.
No, that happens. I just thought it was funny. But my question is, how about the time where Mike Trout was left out of Heritage? Was it Heritage, 2014 or 15 Heritage that he was left out of?
I think he got pushed in high.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Oh, no. He was completely, I think, left out of Heritage one year. And so I'll have to pull it up, Steph. So let me take a look.
Well, there was 1 year, I think 19.
John has a great question here.
We'll get to that in a second, but Shep, I just want to tell you, I think 1993 for Donruss Relief, they missed George Brett that year because they all thought he was retiring after the 92 season, and there's no such card for George Brett in one of those sets. And it happened.
I'd have to go back. But no, yeah, it's John P wants to know, do you guys think this demand in 90s products is because of The Last Dance?
Oh, definitely.
I think it's definitely increased, as you pointed out correctly, Tim, that it's a perfect storm. We don't have live sports. There's this, the age group is right. And it's a very well done documentary. So it's definitely goosed up interest in all that. So I think that's part of where the explosion comes from. And part of it, as I said, comes from also it's the age group. And, hey, we don't have a lot of new products, so let's go back and do the stuff from our childhood that's accessible and affordable, even if it's $30 a box rather than $5 or $10. $30 is still accessible for most people.
Yeah. No, and I think people go back and see that, what the prices have been on some of this stuff, and it, like how dirt cheap, the 90s wax was because so much was made of it. But now I can go back and I can afford to buy it. I can go.
People are older now; they can afford it, and it was a junk wax, and now it's not junk wax. But people are trying to get those cards or opening those packs that they had as a kid.
And I know, I just completed my 1991 studio set with the last 5 cards that I needed. So it's been almost 30 years in the process, and I was finally able to do it. So
was it Frank Thomas?
No, it was Bagwell, Clemens, and just a couple other guys, 2 other guys I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I got them in the mail the other day.
I think this whole Last Dance is just reminding everybody how great those Bulls were, and they had that behind the scenes footage, and I had read that I think it was somebody from ESPN, whoever produced it, said that Jordan had approached them about doing it, and it was right the day, and the day he was meeting Jordan was the day that LeBron and the Cleveland were having their parade. So it's kind of they were implying in the article that it was kind of Jordan was doing it to kind of remind folks, about how great their team was.
And I'm good with that because I think sometimes people think, and I don't know if this is me, but the basketball, the things that Jordan had to go through and how the abuse that he took and how the league's different from when he played to now with LeBron. LeBron would have been great in the 80s and 90s. Don't get me wrong. He's an all-time great player. If Jordan was playing today, they couldn't touch him. Like he would score 35 and he'd average 35 to 40 a night. If James Harden can do it, Jordan would crush these guys and not even think about it. He could go out there half asleep, and outdo these guys. So I think he wanted to remind, hey guys, he wanted to do the little Jordan flex, like, hey, remember who I am. Yeah.
Shep, in some ways, LeBron James was actually more made for 80s and 90s basketball, or even 70s, than he is for today. He in a way, like Magic Johnson did, would have revolutionized the sport. You know, Magic could play all 5 positions. Well, in the 80s, LeBron James could have played all 5 positions. You know, so I think LeBron James would have been maybe even better in some ways in the 80s, because it was a more physical game, and he is such an imposing physical presence that he actually he might have been better, because he can literally control the ball, you know, dribble, shoot, but he can also be a banger inside. And that's something, you know, where his style of play might have actually fit better into that day. Think about how good he is today. I think you add a championship. Okay, hold on. Go to that tweet. That's
this is just coming through stuff. What's going on, bud?
So Hobby's biggest annual event has been tentatively scheduled for Saturday, December 12th through Wednesday, December 16th. And will remain in the Atlantic City Convention Center in New Jersey.
New Jersey in December.
Yes. A week before the holidays.
Fighting with Transcendent, whatever comes out?
Usually right around then, yep.
12 to 6, and it's interesting. I mean, there may be legal reasons they're doing it this year, even in December. You know, trying not to interfere with any other shows that are already scheduled. But as Val pointed out, December in New Jersey is not exactly the most climate-friendly time of the year to be there.
But I mean, you never know, because in my hometown it's currently snowing in May. So.
Well, you grew up in Canada, right?
Basically.
Almost.
Well, I'm happy because I can wear my jackets now.
But you know, the thing is that, you know, it's all going to be, I think, really dependent on the conditions in New Jersey too, not weather-wise, but health-wise. I mean, because that's been one of the hardest hit areas in the country, you know, that we've seen with this. So,
and I believe that facility has been used as a makeshift.
Well, the entire Acela corridor is something that's been hit very hard, all the way from Boston down, you know, to Washington D.C. and Baltimore. The entire area, what they call the Amtrak train, the Acela train, that's all been hit very hard. So, you're right. It'll be interesting to see where we are in December with all this.
Yeah. So to keep an eye on that, but our pal Val has a couple awesome giveaways here. And it's the best Earnhardt, in my opinion. We got a Dale Jr. dual patch autographs to give away. And let's do this. We're going to give away one live today, and then we're going to do a comment. If you leave a positive comment on this episode on YouTube, we will do a random next week. So go in and leave a positive comment on the YouTube page, and you'll win one of them. But the first one we're going to give away live today. Let's do this.
Pick a number.
Let's see. Do you have a good Dale Jr. trivia question that we could ask? Trying to think off the top of my head. Okay, who is his main? Okay, when he was originally with DEI, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated Racing, right? What was his number and his main sponsor all those years?
Number and sponsor.
Number and sponsor. All right, I'm going to drop it in, and then you have to hop in. There's the chat. So you have to come in live and chat.
Answer in the form of a question. By
the way, I love the comment that Oakley, Lambier, and X-Man would have laid out LeBron on a nightly basis. Okay, Xavier McDaniel. Such an underrated player. I love the X-Man. He played at Wichita State. When I was a little kid, I went to an Ace Hardware and got his autograph on a mini Wichita State basketball, which I still have today. And Xavier McDaniel was my favorite basketball player for the longest time. I didn't even know who Michael Jordan was, but it was all about an X-Man. And if you want to win the contest, you need to call in and see. We need to see your face, and you can win this awesome Dale Earnhardt card.
There's a new Beckett.
There we go. She's getting some popularity, huh?
Yeah,
Definitely is.
she.
There we go. We have the O hopping in. Oh, what number did he have, and what was his sponsor?
Was it number 8 and Budweiser?
Bing, 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 bing. Outstanding. That's it. We used to call Budweisers when I was a kid, Dales, and then Bud Light Dale Juniors. And so it was our code word when we were maybe not of age, and we needed somebody to go to the store for us. So yeah. But congratulations on winning that. Sorry, Bean. Yeah, I said you had to call in, say what's up, but I got something for you, Bean. Don't worry about it, bud. We'll take care of you. So reach out to you can either hit us up on DMs on the Hobby Hotline and with your address, and we'll make sure that gets out to you.
I got it marked for you.
All right. I think we upset Ken. I know I saw you answered, but I said that you had to call in, right? But I'll take care of you, Ken. I got something for you, buddy. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave you hanging. One of my favorite guys in the hobby.
Oh,
we need to have
Ken's
Ken
awesome.
on the show.
Yeah, we need to have Ken on the show.
But we're only going to talk baseball if he's on the show.
We can do hockey as long as he doesn't talk about the Blackhawks.
Hey,
No,
I thought we were just going to talk racing.
We'd talk racing too, and then actually could. If you want to leave. If you see your son to listen, after the show post, you can go to our YouTube page on the Hobby Hotline underneath the show, and you can leave a comment. If you like the show or not, or hey, like Steph has a fun beard or whatever, just any kind of comment, as long as it's a positive comment.
Right.
We'll put you in a random, and we'll do that giveaway. Kicking off episode 14 next week's show. So, hey, hold on, late Colin. What's up, Stale Gum? How we doing?
How's it?
Good. How are
hey,
you?
Chris.
Can you hear us?
I'm hearing echo. Wait, hold on.
We heard you. Yeah, no, to clarify, so after the show is over, it'll actually open up a comment section down below.
Late Colin. What's up, Stale Gum? How we doing?
All right. Who's up for New Jersey in December, huh?
So not happening.
Echo. Wait.
I love the smell of New Jersey in December.
We heard you.
We're getting
you'll
feedback
love it.
now.
Yeah, no, to clarify, so after the show is over, it'll actually open up a comment section.
Oh, he's on delay.
What's up, Stale Gum? How we doing?
All right. I'm on a delay, so Who's up I don't for, know what's
New Jersey in December, huh?
So not happening.
Echo. Wait.
I love the
Hang
smell
on
of
one sec here, because I'm going to mute the mic. We're getting a little bit of an echo, but yeah, New Jersey in December should be fun. I know everybody's probably excited about that, so
ain't doing it.
Yeah. I wasn't going
It's
to go
the
anyway.
second Atlantic City National Road that I skip out on.
From California to New Jersey.
Well,
Yeah.
Shep, the thing is, it's not only California to New Jersey, but like if you were going someplace in New Jersey, you're close, but you're actually going to fly into Philly and then drive for an hour
Yeah, I'm good.
because that's
I'm
the
good.
best way to get there.
Yeah, well, so I'm hopefully I can talk my wife into letting me go to 2021 in Chicago again when the kid's a little bit older, and I think I have to take her to Hawaii first. I think was our deal. So we will see. Maybe they'll close Hawaii for a while, and we can't go. So yeah, no. But guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight or today?
Stay safe and keep collecting.
Sounds like a good thought to me.
And I absolutely want to thank Tracy for hopping on and being generous with this time and giving us an update on products and their thoughts on the company with everything going on right now and sharing some Kobe magic.
Let's see if we got this fixed. What's up, Chris? Are we back?
Are we all right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we
Good.
go.
I think it would help if I mute the YouTube window. So, yeah,
That'll do it.
winter in New Jersey. I'm curious though. It's going to start on a Saturday and end on a Wednesday, and man, that Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to be dead.
Good bargains.
Ugh. That would be great for me. I don't know about people setting up, or if anybody's going to bother to set up.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the people who've already paid for their booths, I think that's going to be a tough sell, both for them and to actually make sales, especially on that last Wednesday. I mean, usually the last day of the National is kind of rough. Sunday, people wanting to jet out to get back to their lives, but midweek ending?
What I'm more thinking, but the industry summit, and I grant you it's a little bit different, usually runs like Sunday to Wednesday. So there are people used to that, but
they're not lugging product though.
Yes, but I'm more thinking if you're in the, that's also the holiday season, and if you're a store owner, you may want to be at your store, especially if you think Christmas season is your biggest time. Granted, the hobby's a little bit different. Do you really want to leave your store if you have a store that time of year? That's not.
And then also, it's got to be a little more expensive to fly in December, right?
Limited availability, sure.
Especially as prices, as demand on flights probably increases if that starts to happen. What that's going to look like. So I know it's very interesting. I'm what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out because my local shop usually has a booth at the National with two of his friends, and they kind of split the booth and do a lot of buying and selling. And so I will reach out to him because I know he's all prepaid and everything, and ask them what their thoughts are. Because he does a bang up job at Christmas. I mean, that place is packed. Through that right after Thanksgiving on. So, we'll see. Plus the plethora of product that could be available with the delayed
release schedule.
The pushed out release dates and more stuff hitting. So, yeah. Yeah. And, what's up?
Good.
What's up, Brad? No, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm actually in sales for computers and stuff, and I was just in Jersey earlier last winter for a convention that actually started on Sunday and then ended, I think it ended on Thursday. But on Thursday, probably like the first hour, everybody showed up. And then by noon, people started shutting down and started heading to the airport. Well, what happened is both Philly and Jersey shut down. So you could not get out of the area for another 2 days. So I kind of understand why they would do it, because maybe either contractual or venue or they had to fulfill a part of a contract or something like that. But to get in to that area for that amount of time and then to get out, no way. I live in Texas. There's no way you could get me to that part of the country in the wintertime unless you forced me to, because I've done it several times every single year. And
come on, South Jersey ain't that bad. Come on.
The only thing Jersey's good for is I can't mention on a live show. Come on, man.
Come on.
Well, wait a second. I spent the first 30 years of my life in Jersey. Let's defend some things in Jersey. To me, the funniest Jersey trivia is when I was growing up, 6 straight Secretary of States of New Jersey ended up in jail. That's one of my favorite trivia facts of growing up. But
where do you live now, Rich?
I live in Texas, where it's a different.
Yeah, I know. I see Rich very often at his shows, and I can't wait for the next one. So
neither can I, and we'll see when we have the next one, and it's
is the best
I
things from
agree
Jersey.
Even after I moved here, I never liked traveling to New Jersey between December and March. I would sometimes do it, but I was never a big fan of it. It's because it could get too tricky, and that's why
I remember as a kid. I remember as a kid flying, grew up in Kansas, moved to California, going back to Kansas for Christmas. Sometimes we'd either get stuck in Denver or Wichita trying to leave because of the weather. And after a while, my parents were like, "Yeah, we're good." And I'm like, "Thank God," because I don't like just sitting on the airplane. The two best things that come from Jersey: Rich Klein and Tony Soprano.
There you go.
What about me?
Oh, and okay, third, you come in get the bronze.
Yay! I made the podium.
You guys can arm wrestle for silver and bronze. But no.
Has everybody been to the Atlantic City show?
Yes, I've been to. I was to the first two Atlantic City shows, 1988 and I think 2003. I think I went to those. I set up in 1988 at the first convention center, and I was at Beckett in 2003, the second time they had a show there. And I don't think I've gone to Atlantic City since then.
We did 60.
Yeah. 88 was my first national, so.
Because I went, but to your point, you have to fly into Philly and then take the train or take a car.
Yes. I mean, I think the only airline that flies directly into Atlantic City right now is Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from Texas, you
if you're flying into Philadelphia,
I prefer not to take Spirit Airlines under any circumstance.
Right.
Yeah, there is a train that goes from Philadelphia directly to Atlantic City, and the rail terminal is like right next door to the convention center. So that's an option.
Yeah, I think that's
also
how
an
I
option
went.
for accommodation because you can stay in Philly or you can stay along the line in South Jersey. You don't have to actually stay in Atlantic City.
But I would just saying
from New Jersey, right?
I'd fly into Philly and then drive all the way up to all the way up that.
Philly, you get the cheesesteaks, right? There you go.
Well, a really, really funny story about Philly. And my first time I went to Philly, I'm a Cowboys fan. So it gets where you'll love this. You'll love this. So I fly in with this Emmitt Smith jersey on. Okay, so I thought I was Billy, and I get off the plane and I go to the car rental place. Well, the car rental, who shall not be named, were very, very nice and upgraded me. Mr. Bethune, you're a great customer. We appreciate you. Here's your upgrade. So I get out to the upgrade, and it's a ratty old minivan. I have no GPS. Wait, it gets better. So, it's 10 o'clock. I get lost in South Philly. Okay. And as I'm lost in South Philly, I get stuck in a ratty minivan in South Philly, in a Cowboys jersey, with Geno's on one side and Pat's on the other, trying to figure out how to get out. So I will never, ever wear any Cowboys memorabilia ever again.
You made it out alive?
Barely. So that's a funny anecdotal deal. So anyway.
One of my favorite show trip stories from my Beckett days is I was going to the show trip. It was supposed to be a show that was in the calendar for this weekend at some mall in South Jersey. Well, whether they moved, I think they ended up moving the show and never telling us. So I get to the mall. The show was last week. Well, fortunately, there was a show in White Plains. So I drove up to, I think my mom had passed. So I drove up to my dad's house. Oh, hi, I'm staying with you for a couple of days. Oh, he loved it. It was fine by him. And I'm going to White Plains for the next couple of days. It's okay, fine. Sunday morning, I get up. I'm listening to CBS FM. And it's 6 a.m, and the news comes on. Yes, it's 3 degrees outside with a wind chill of 30 below zero. And I'm thinking, this is why I don't go up to New Jersey in January unless I absolutely have to. 30-degree wind chills are not exactly my, my favorite cup of tea.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
And it's just for Brad. If you guys are listening, it's a picture of Dak saying, I'm the best QB in the NFL, and Mahomes saying, oh, boy, that's a good one. Okay, Dak again. I'm the best QB in the NFC. Russell Wilson, nice try. Dak, I'm the best QB in the division. Carson Wentz, nope. I'm the best QB in Texas. Deshaun Watson, try again. I'm the best QB on my own team. Andy Dalton, LOL. I believe that's a true statement.
So I agree 100% with this huge, like with this picture. I love Andy Dalton. TCU Horned Frog, hometown guy. I'm really torn as to who should start the year. I'm not a Dak hater. I'm a Dak, I'm Dak friendly, but I actually jumped for joy when I found out that he signed with the Cowboys. Just
Well,
because
normally the guy you pay $30 million a year to will probably enter training camp as your starter.
if he decides to come to training camp, that's the other thing.
No, he's been franchised. Granted, he can always sit out, but at that amount of money, he's going to training camp. Let's be honest. $32 million a year, he's not skipping training camp or whatever the number is.
Wow. No, I don't believe it. I said it in a previous blog that I wrote. I think he's a $28 million quarterback. I don't think he's worth 30, 34. Even if the market answers and says that he's in the 34 to 35 range, I think he's a $28 million quarterback a year. And that's a HSO. I'll throw that out there.
Are you a ticket head?
Oh, P1 day one. P1 day one.
To me, I gave up on the ticket many years ago.
Local radio station here, guys.
Local radio station, and we were having a chat in the office based on Steph's show on last Wednesday when it went slightly off the rails, and I said, well, that's the type of subject that got me away from the ticket once and for all, where people went to spring training and started talking about the nighttime establishments where young ladies danced in not a lot of clothes. And I said, I want to know what's going on in spring training, not what the adult establishments are in Surprise or whatever town. I think they were in Florida at the time, whatever Florida town they were in.
Well, you got to know which one has the best barbecue wings.
Well, that's an important subject. I did live with a barbecue discussion.
Next drive-through about the cards. Anyway, guys, we're going to head out today. Remember, we're live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Periscope. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. We appreciate it. Always follow us on Hobby Hotline. You can always follow. Yeah, definitely. You always follow Val at NASCAR Radio. Follow Steph at Junk Wax Twins. Follow me at Big Shep. We have at Stale Gum. We have at Rich Klein. And Brad, what's your handle on Twitter, bud?
I'm not there yet. I'm gonna redo everything, so I appreciate it. Just jumping back in.
Awesome. Well, welcome back. We love it. Make sure to win the awesome Dale Jr. Dual Relic Auto Card. Comment on this video, and we'll do a random at the beginning of next week's show. But until then, all have a great weekend. Make sure you tell your mother-like figures you love them and you appreciate them. And we'll see you all next week. Have a good one.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.